So hey guys, I'm back with another video. This is my cousin brother's Duke 390. Today we're just going to ride it for a few kilometers and see what the 390 Duke is about. I think most of the people watching this video already know what the 390 Duke is about, but it's going to be my opinion on the bike. Let's see. So the bike is only completed about 418 kilometers, so we are not going to rev the bike because we have to be nice to the engine. First gear. I'm opening the throttle really gently because I have ridden a 390 before and it always wants to wheelie and I don't want to wheelie, so I don't want to have an accident on this bike too. I like the seating position of the bike, even though I'm 6'3" and this doesn't come under one of those bikes that's really big, it still manages to fit me really well. If you see my knees, are just where it should be. If it was any higher, I wouldn't like it that much. I like the screen. I like the fact that it's ergonomically very relaxed. It's not that aggressive. I've ridden the old Duke 200, and the old Duke 200, I was a little bit cramped on that bike because my knees were so far back that I couldn't change gears, or I couldn't press the brake well enough. So this is definitely a much better step.
They see me rolling, they hating, patrolling.
My God, the BMC guys have started catching for helmet now. I wonder who gave them the right to do that. So the KTM 390 uses a 373cc engine, if I'm not wrong. I hope I'm not wrong. I'm going to look it up after this. It has a 373cc engine. The same engine is used on the Dominar 400, but the Dominar 400 has a lower compression ratio. It produces less power as well. It's basically the same hardware but different software. So you can conveniently say that the KTM is more frantic, it's more exciting, whereas the Dominar 400 is more relaxed. But again, they are meant for very different duties. The Dominar 400 is a hyper ride. It has a lot of hyper riding capabilities. It's has long legs for the highway. Duke 390 is very exciting. It can literally blast your pants off with the speeds it can do, with the acceleration numbers it can do. So you can see that coming from Bajaj, they have two very different bikes. The things that I don't like about the 390 in this very short first impression video is the amount of heat it produces. I've been literally riding the bike for about 7 kilometers now and it's already hot. Now yes, it is the compression ratio that makes it hot, but then again the Dominar 400 doesn't heat as much. Again, compression ratio is different, I know, but it also depends on the heat dissipation. And Bajaj with the Dominar 400 and the Dominar 250 and the RS 200, they have really worked miracles on the cooling system. These bikes don't really get hot. They rarely overheat. I remember the first generation Dukes had a heating issue. This doesn't overheat to the point that it will shut down, but it doesn't like the heat. It wants to be ridden hard. Even in the gears, even with the heat, it wants to be ridden hard because at higher speeds, the heat is much less. Another thing I don't like about the bike is, I think I would say, they gave it riding mode, right? They should have given it a riding mode where you can just kind of relax, like I would call it relaxed riding mode. Because yes, you have supermoto mode, which makes the engine response more frantic, and you can change your ABS settings and the throttle response. That's great, but that's to get more performance out of the engine. I would like to see something that, from time to time, if you don't feel like it, if you don't feel like riding hard, you can just turn it off and tune it down. Somewhat like what the Apaches have with the urban riding mode and all of that, which curves the power. It will also help you reduce the heat, it will help you increase fuel efficiency, and also not everyone wants to ride like a crazy person 24/7 365 days a year. So it would be great if they had a mode which would, you know, curb the power a little bit, help you manage, and you know, basically help you get some more kilometers out of the tank, because it's a 13-liter tank, but fuel efficiency is not that great, so you're going to have issues with tank range. Let's take it into the building now. And the owner of the bike is right there.
So hey guys, I'm just going to shorten the whole vlog down into this small segment. So the KTM Duke 390 has 43 bhp, 43 and a half also. But ask yourself this, on a regular basis traveling from A to B within Mumbai, how much of those 43 horses can you actually use? Because the streets are not that open, you have bad roads. So you're never going to do those speeds, you're never going to end up using 43 horses anytime. So a 390 is slightly overkill for that. On the open highway, yes, you have a 390, you can blast down in 160 km per hour, 170 even. It's fine, it's made for that. But where you're 90% of the time or more, you're 95% of the time in a city. And in the city, you can't do that. So in that regard, I think a 200 or 250 make more sense, because like I have a RS 200, it makes 24 horses. And in the last 2000 kilometers that I've been riding the bike, I can comfortably say that I have used 24 and a half horses. Not one of those horses has been left, because I can flog the bike in the city, because it can do those speeds. It's capable of, you know, revving up to that range. It's very comfortable. A Duke 390, yes, you can rev it up to those speeds, but you'll constantly be going for the brake in the city at least. It's stop-go traffic, so the 390 is a little overkill for the city area, but out on the highway, yes, it will do its duty. But so you have to analyze it yourself. What are you buying the bike for? If it's an everyday bike, it's overkill. If it's a weekend bike where you're going to take it out on for touring or on highways, great. So those are my thoughts, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.